Hey, Alex here again. This is the kind of video that I wanted to do since a while ago because in my channel I want to share you several of my experiences as a developer, but also as my lifestyle as a digital nomad in how to increase your productivity. Because that was the kind of video that I would like to watch when I was growing in my career. Now that I am developing my company, um, I am trying to get out a little bit from the status quo because of the struggling and things that that I have lived in the companies that I have worked before. And after 12 years working for other companies, and I understood uh, that these agile methodologies are not that great as they people say. I'm not against them. I think that they work, but when the people access the process from them, the work is never delivered. So I'm going to show you and tell you several of the stories that happened to me over the time and why I don't think that they really work and how you can become a better developer and a productive developer just doing the real job. So if you have some experience on development, the flow state is that moment when you have been working for straight hours, just trying to deliver the job. It's that state of mind that nothing is interrupting you, and that's maybe why all the developers, or most of them, they work on the night because cell phone is turned off. You are not chatting with anybody else, and you only just focus it on the code and things that you need to find to do it. So if you really want to, if you really want to deliver the job, the flow state is that moment that you need to get all the time. And even more when you work in a big company or mid-sized company also, um, that nothing is going to interrupt you. So Jason Fried said once in a TED conference, he said like the job happens after the job because the people is always interrupting you, telling you what to do or what it can be done or whatever, and nobody can be really focused just to code. Just programming is like an art. Like if you write a book or if you are painting a picture, you need to have the most silence moment to get that flow state. Any interruption that you get, it takes you around 23 minutes just to get back to the task that you were doing. So imagine if you get, I don't know, 3 or 5 calls in a day or asking you, how's it going? How are you? How you are? Or whatever. And then you try to get back to what you were doing. It's impossible to deliver a job in a state like that. So to understand and be productive as a developer or any other work that you want to do, not just coding. If you really want to deliver the job in any skill or any area that you work, the first thing that you need to do is silence. No interruptions, no cell phone, no WhatsApp, no Instagram, no nothing. Because that's the only way that you can be sit on your computer working straight for 1 or 2 or 3 hours. If you are a super focused guy, you can get up to 5 to 6 hours, but that's a very rare cases. Let's say that 2.5 hours of focus is a very good amount of time, and then you can just simply, I don't know, you get overwhelmed, you just stop, and then you continue after 20 minutes later for it. But to deliver the job, the flow is the main thing that you have on your mind, that you need to have on your mind to get. Because if you do not get that, there's no way that you can deliver the job. So now that we understand what the flow state is, let's then talk about what the agile methodologies says that you need to do just to be more productive. And the first one is going to be the dailies. So following the methodologies, you need to do a call every day at the beginning of the day with your team asking them what they are doing. So let's say that you have, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 developers in your company or in your team. And then they tell you something like, okay, yeah, I'm working the ticket, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have a blocker for this. Okay, do you need anyone else from the team? And someone says, oh, I don't. The second one says, don't. But the third one, he says that he needs a job. He needs a hand for. And what it should be a call that less than 15 minutes, it can convert in 1 or 1.5 hours call that is not gonna help anything, to the rest of the team. Because in the middle, of you are just taking the other guy teams in the call just to trying to help you, and nobody is helping anyone because at the end, the developer that is doing the job is the one that should be, I don't know, fixing the trouble. If something is super hard, he should call to his senior and then both of them, let's try to solve the problem. That's correct. That's not the problem. The problem is that if your day starts at 8 or 9 a.m. and you start with a call that takes more than 30 minutes, that normally the dailies can take that. I mean, of course, there are dailies that take 5, 6 minutes. I mean, I understand that. That does not happen all the time. But the thing is that the flow is totally broken at the beginning. Because the only thing that you need to do when you want to code is code. Nothing else. You don't need to make a call for that. it's a kind of weird that people think that they're going to code just making a call. So what I suggest, if you are running a company like me, is not doing the call for the daily and just simply use a chatbot. There are several chatbots over there that you can just simply integrate it with your Slack or with your Teams, and simply it makes the call. Hey, what you doing? Hey, what you doing? What you doing today? What is your focus today? Do you need anyone on the other team? That's it. Simple like that. The developer, and like me, my experience, I can tell you that it's way more productive than trying to enter in a call that is going to break your focus immediately. And then and even more at the beginning of the day when you are trying to solve a problem. So the best thing that you can do is cancel all the dailies that you have. All of them. Because you don't need them. Maybe you need one stand-up, let's say, in a week. That's enough. That's enough for the team. And the rest, you can just simply handle it by chats. There's nothing that cannot be communicated by chat or email. If something is super hard to explain it in text words, the only thing, in that moment, of course, a call can come, but not before. Because when it happens, simply all your focus, all your creativity, all the ideas that maybe could work in the trouble that you are trying to solve are not gonna be delivered or try it, because then you're gonna be broken for a call. So dailies, please, no more. There are other ones like at the Scrum of Scrums, Agile Poker. For the God's sake, we don't need that. The only thing that you need to do to deliver code is simply code. Program. If you want to be a programmer, just do that. Do code. Just write code. That's it. Okay, so now the second one is the 2 minutes call. Do you have 2 minutes for a call?
Hell no.
Definitely not. That's the only answer that you should answer to that question. I have been in days that I have received that question for around, I don't know, 6 times. And the 2 minutes call becoming a 30, 40, 1 hour and a half call. Just to trying to report until or try to explain one thing that is not important to deliver the job. As a developer, a senior developer in a company that I used to work, I remember one day that I was sitting on my computer since 8 a.m. My job started at 9, but I was 1 hour before trying to solve a trouble that we had for a while. and I started to enter in a calls like I don't know, the daily, a question from another developer because I was his leader. Then I was in a call that it was from the company. Then I was in another one. I mean, the day passed and it was around 3 p.m. And for some reason, I don't know, I got silence immediately and I was able to focus. I was so happy for, you know, and I was coding. And 30 minutes later, when I was just about to solve the issue that I had, then I got the other question. Hey, do you have 2 minutes for a call? Jesus Christ. I screamed like out, no way, no, no, please let me try to focus. The 2 minutes call becoming a 2 hours call. And my day ended up around 5 p.m. and I wasn't able to finish my job. If you are working in a company, in a software company, or you are developing in a company like mine, you should never interrupt your developers unless that you are a leader. I mean, in the position of the leadership or a project manager, you can always try to make calls because that's your job. But if you are a developer and you also are leading and you also are doing calls, you're never going to accomplish the job because simply you are not being able to get focus. Of course, as I said before, calls are important. It's important to have a call if you are, I don't know, a question or something that is not working correctly and you want to help your coworker, or you need a hand for another guy. That's totally understand. That's a paper programming thing. But if you are trying to receive the calls from the other departments of the company and your focus is not the calls, your focus is the code, you should never answer those calls because those calls never takes 2 minutes. I mean, unless there is something that can be summarized in one or two phrases, there's no way that the call takes 2 minutes. I mean, unless it's gonna take, I don't know, 20 minutes. And 20 minutes is a lot of time wasted. Unless that is a super urgent thing. I mean, if it is something that is super urgent, of course, then you need to receive the answer and try to solve it immediately because that's your job. But when you are trying to deliver new features, when you are trying to do new things, expand your creativity and try to solve a trouble that maybe it takes you, I don't know, you can maybe be in a trouble for 2 or 3 days and you haven't been able to finish it. You never should answer the 2 minutes call because I can tell you that after all the time that I have been working in this, the 2 minutes calls never takes 2 minutes. And even if it takes 2 minutes, it breaks your flow. And as I said before in the first part of the video, the flow is the most important thing for you because the flow is the only thing that allows you to finish the job. So, how is it going? I think that the only animal that you can compare in many manager is with a parrot. Managers are parrots that the only question that they need, that they know what to say is, hey, how is it going? The how is it going question is one of the most toxic thing that I have been ever been working before. Let's say that the duty of any manager is to try to understand where the project it is or where the task it is. It's totally okay that they ask, hey, how's it going? What we can do to you? What we can do to help? That's totally okay. But there is an extended belief that if you ask them to the developers, how is it going? There's going to appear any kind of miracle conscious, that is going to illuminate the developer just to try to make them work faster. That's not going to happen. In 12 years working on this, I can tell you that it has happened to me, I don't know, 2 times, 3 times. Any excess of pressure that you add to your work or to your developers is not going to be positive for the productivity because the people it's trying to solve a trouble and then they know that there is a deadline And the deadlines is always a trouble for the developers, because all the time you try to measure a project or any task, and let's say that you say, oh, you know what, this task takes, I don't know, 2 hours or whatever, but it takes you 2 weeks. You say, why? I don't know, something appeared. I mean, maybe there's a trouble that you didn't count on it, or something happened that it doesn't work. And the managers are going to tell you, oh no, but you need to try to measure better or whatever. That's okay. That's their job. But the managers should understand that the developers are humans, not machines. And no matter what you tell them, and if you try to tell them like, okay, we need to have this done by tomorrow, they already know that. That's weird. They do not have to say that. The only thing that they need to say is, hey, what we can do to try to help. But most of the companies, and this happens all the time, the managers do not have any idea of what exactly is happening. They only ask to the developers, hey, how is it going? They try to get a report and just give it to the client. Managers should always, in the most of the cases, be technicals. If they are not technicals, at least they need to have a better understanding of the things and how they do. No matter if they code or not, they need to know where the project it is and what are the real blockers that the project and the system is having in this moment, to try to report that to the client, or that to the project manager or the upper that they have, and just simply try to get time, because the developers, I know that this business is all based on time. I understand that very well, and I have a company, and I know that the time is gold over here. But as I said, just working on this for so long, the time and the creativity of the developers, it's not gonna happen because you tell them that you have to do it by tomorrow. It's not going to change their flow just because of that. It's just add pressure and anxiety to them that is not going to make them to do the work faster. Of course, if there is something that is taking too long and things are not working correctly, it's because something maybe is not being communicated, or something is not working correctly. I mean, something is not working as they expected at the beginning. But the only way that you can simply tell to the guys that that they are going to do the job is just giving them the hope that it's going to happen. But just asking them, hey, how's it going? I can tell you that that's not going to happen. So the fourth and final point is the convoluted Kanban boards. So a Kanban board should try to symbolize how easy a task can be. So the basic stuff for a Kanban board is the to-do column, the doing column, and the done column. That's it. Maybe you can add them, I don't know, review column. But I have seen boards where there are several teams mixed in the same task. The QA team, the senior teams, the DevOps teams, and one task that should take only 3 steps just to be delivered and taken out to the production side. It can take, I don't know, 3 weeks. And it takes 3 weeks because many people think that several other parts of the company should start to test things. And I can tell you that in a real environment, and if you really want to deliver things fast, you need to always think as a startup. So I understand that the processes are important for the companies when they get big, but the startup mindset is always going to tell you that the job needs to be done, not that the job needs to be reviewed and over-review it, because it's not going to be delivered at any point. So I have seen Kanban boards with 8 columns: backbone, to do, doing, in review, other review, QA review, the super review, staging review, whatever review, and then in production, and then done. Those boards do not work in a real environment because there is always a possibility that the task is going to get back to another state because you are waiting an external person just to be sure that it's working. And when that happens, which is, I think that it's okay that having other people just to test the task, is that you have to be waiting what they are doing in the other stuff, and it's not exactly the team, the person that is going to test on your team. So if you really want to take the task from the to do to the done column, you only should keep it in 3 columns: to do, doing, and done. If you are 2, 3 more columns, just to try to other people to test, and maybe if those people do not understand the business, that happens all the time, because normally, for example, your client do not, they have on their minds the idea that they understand what is the problem that they have. But let's say that they tell you something like, oh, you know what? The page looks perfect, but this title should not be in capital words, in capital letters. And you are like, that's not a bug. Oh yeah, it's a bug. And then they take you the task just to back when what they should do is just create a new task just to try to fix that new problem. So all the time that you are, if you are looking to develop your career or you are trying to develop a company like me, never in your life just overconvolute a system that is easy to manage with 3 simple columns: to do, doing, and done. Whatever you put in the middle of is just going to retard the process to be delivered and the task to be delivered. Always think that the task that you have in your mind to do, just have a process of doing, of course, a test, and then just deliver it, or just put it in a state that is going to be delivered soon. Because if not, I can tell you that you are going to pass from being a rabbit that runs everywhere to becoming an elephant that takes a long while just to make a simple step. That's it. So the conclusions. Well, I cannot tell that methodologies are worthless. Of course, if they exist, it's because there are studies behind them that really help the people to just deliver the job, and way more in the big companies, because the big companies need processes. So I understand that part. What I am against of is when the excess of processes just simply take the job to a level that is absolutely bored. It's absolutely not necessary to do all those steps, and simply you take the energy that the people wants to deliver their job to a level that simply they do not work that cool. So keep it simple all the time. Whatever team that you work, in your job, in your new careers, in your companies like mine, or any other company, any process that you want to implement in your teams, just simply think how easy it could be for them and how fun they're gonna have just to trying to deliver it with the process that you are implementing. That's the lesson that I got after all these years of work, and that's the motto that I'm going to add to my company, just to try and to bring them fun all the time. If you bring them anxiety, if you bring them deadlines, if you didn't bring them things that simply they are not going to feel cool, they are not going to do a cool job or a great job. They need to have the time just to think. And if you are trying to develop your career, you always need to have fun. That's the most important part. And of course, if you want to do and deliver a good job, you have to believe that you can do it, and you have to do things to make it more productive. As I said, no calls, no how is it going, no 2 minutes call, and keep it simple on the boards that you have. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoy it. Leave me your comments down below. If you think that this video is cool, just share it and like it. It really helps us just to bring more content for you. And you can follow me on my personal Instagram at aldinomad. And you can go to uprightcode.io, which is the website of my company. And I really enjoyed doing this kind of video. Please give me your comments, whatever you think about, and we can discuss it over there. I see you in the next one. Bye bye.